Ferguson, Richard Beaupre is here too. Welcome to day 14 for the bronze medal game in the 1993 World Ice Hockey Championships from Germany. Canada take on the Czech Republic. Both teams were top of their respective tables. Both teams were undefeated, and both teams lost out in the semifinals. The Czechs were beaten in overtime by the Swedes 4-3, and Canada were outplayed and outscored by the Russians 7-4.
The Czechs look cool and classy throughout the opening round. Unfortunate for them to have to lose in overtime as they fought back so hard with the tying goal just before the end of the third period. The Canadians had swept through Group A. They looked unstoppable. They beat the Russians in the first round 3-1, and then defensively yesterday gave up 7 goals.
Canada playing from left to right as they move it down the ice. And we had 2 excellent games yesterday. And we're hoping more of the same today and tomorrow. Russia, Sweden in the final tomorrow. Poland for the Czech Republic gets it as far as the blue line. Big hit there as Lindros picks it up. Lindros, big shot. BRŽIZA comes up with the save. Ron Tagnat is between the posts at the other end. Russell comes back quickly. Russell trying to get the shot away. Hostak looking for Kostak. Hostak with Russell from a sharp angle. That comes out front and it's batted down, and Canada pick it up. Back on the attack. Recchi drops it off. Gagne tips it over, but Russell just bangs it in the corner. Recchi. Long clearance into the far corner. That's not out of the zone. And going after it quickly is Gudas. Gudas ties up his man. Russell is checked off the play by Gagne. Horova tips it down the ice, and Manson, who had a 10-minute misconduct against the Russians, throws it over to this side. That cost the Canadian team dearly with him out of the play. Something he said to the American referee did not impress the referee and cost him 10. Back on the attack. The Czechs. Russell throwing it over. Hostak still mixing it up in the corner. Johnson goes after his man from a sharp angle. Horak tried to get the shot away. That went off a skate. A lot of bunching and looping, and eventually Johnson brings it over the blue, shoots it in. Whoa, how did that get in? BRŽIZA kicks it out, and the Canadians lead it 1-0. Something out of nothing. That trickled out front. Adam Graves was right there.
BRŽIZA didn't have a clue. Certainly not expecting Graves to put a quick backhander his way. Adam Graves with a man all over him. The puck coming off the side of the net right onto Graves' stick. He just throws the backhander around toward the goal. It's off BRŽIZA's skate and into the net. Canada strike first.
Benning over to the far side. 1-0 the score. As that goes all the way down the ice for icing. An unusual goal for Graves, or for anyone for that matter, to score. Graves with 36 goals and 79 assists for the New York Rangers was 4th in their scoring table.
From the side of goaltenders, BRŽIZA is coming into this game as the top goaltender with 1.29 goals against average.
Vrana got that back, and it trickles out over the blue line. 2:32 gone. Dineen breaks for the net. Long shot coming in from Savage. The youngsters getting a chance to play for Canada. Dineen in front. The pass coming from Savage. BRŽIZA got the stick out to slow down Dineen's travels. Brindamore waits out front. A long pass up, and the Czechs started up with Tupal. Tupal, a nice pass to Baranek. Baranek across to the far side of the rink. Tupal couldn't get it, and the Czechs fired right back in. Dineen, a weak shot on BRŽIZA. Brindamore was looking for the loose puck, and the whistle blows.
You could see that BRŽIZA wasn't happy with himself for allowing that goal. But an interview before the game with Thomas Kapusta, number 19 of the Czech Republic, he says that the morale of the team is still good. They've got a lot to play for, and they want the bronze medal. The Canadians look very dejected after losing to Russia 7-4 yesterday, but they've got the first goal in this game.
Lindros from the face-off. Korea to Lindros. Lindros looking for someone out front, and Shane Corson couldn't hang on to that. Galley for Canada hits the blue, and that deflects off Janecki's stick and goes over the board, so we'll have another face-off. Earlier on today, the Swiss took on the Norwegians, and we had a real surprise result in that one.
The Swiss, who did so well last year, have now been relegated.
They came fourth in the World Championships. They now find themselves out of Pool A. The Norwegians stayed in, had a tough game against the Swiss, but really strung it together.
5 goals for the Norwegians. Dahlstrom, Biltbaum, Torresson, Johansson, and Erik Christensen with the empty netter. Christensen, the player of the game for Norway in their loss, certainly played excellent hockey throughout the tournament.
Janecki taking off the puck. Janecki dumps Lindros, and that long pass up to the red line. Korea couldn't go any further. Horova is hit by Lindros, and the Czechs come up now. Kuchera, nice little move, taking on Smith. Kuchera doubles back, and that went off his stick as Serban gathered that, shoots it over the blue, and Galley has to go deep for Canada. Galley over the blue, over the red, backhands it into the corner. Both teams changing on the fly as Staviana tips it off the woodwork. Gagne couldn't control it, and the Czechs shoot it all the way down the ice. So we know now that the Swiss are in Pool B, the British are in Pool A. There will be an Olympic playoff in September between the Latvians, the Swiss, the Japanese, the Poles, and the Great Britons to see who, the Great Britain team, to see who grabs the final slot in the Olympics in Norway in 1994. From the face-off, the Canadians grabbed that. Rosso put his stick out to try to set it up. Recchi couldn't get a handle on it, and that's pushed along the boards. Canada with Gagne. Gagne being pressed by 22 Hostak. The Czechs getting back in numbers in the corner. That's flipped along the boards out into neutral ice territory. A good little move there by Manson. Rosso ties him up. They steal the puck off him, and here come the Czechs. Shot. Tugnutt goes down. Kastak moving in. Rosso doing some good defensive stuff to help tie up Manson in the neutral zone. Recchi goes after Staviana. Staviana to Hostak, and the Canadians trap it, bring it in. Graves, who scored the first goal, gives it to Gagne. Graves goes after it. Gagne continues to forecheck, and we have 3 Czechs within 2-3 feet of each other. The Czechs going for a change on the fly as McIver brings it back into his own zone.
The Czechs going for a line change, losing out in the neutral zone. They're not skating as hard as they were against the Swedes. I realize it's hard to get up for the game, but they say the morale is strong and they're ready to win this one. They want the bronze medal.
The Canadians have come out flying. They did that against the Russians, but they couldn't maintain the pressure. The Russians settled down, played some excellent hockey. Bikov and Khomatov instrumental in applying a lot of pressure. Big shot coming from Roman Horak. That bounces back to the blue. Another shot comes in. Tugnutt is right there. Karkner picked it up, couldn't get it out of the zone. Pressure all around Tugnutt as that bounces off his stick, and Calhoun ties up his man along the boards, and here come the Canadians. Some good back-checking by Herbeck. Herbeck picks up the return pass from the D, circles back, another change on the fly for the Czechs. All the way back onto the defense, and Holland shoots it in. Some wicked bounces coming off those backboards. Karkner picks that up, flips it into neutral ice territory. Holland goes for a break. Kuchera trying to do something on the far side. Canada with Deneen taken out of the play just over the blue line. The Czechs getting back in numbers. Gagne rattles that over the plexi, and we'll have another face-off.
The Canadians seem to be going. They're skating well. They've had a good spurt at Briza. The Czechs are out shooting the Canadians 5-3 at this point, though. Tugnutt has had to get himself into it. Only 5 shots, but 2 or 3 of them were good opportunities by the Czechs.
Ron TAGNATT is the backup to Bill Ranford in the National Hockey League with the Edmonton Oilers. He played 26 games this year, had a goals against average of 4.17. Not NHL standard, but then the Edmonton Oilers this year didn't have a very good season. Defensively, offensively, they were lacking. Coming on this side, it's Corson. Corson flips it right in front. Correa was breaking. Lindros was there too. The old line is back together for Canada.
No disrespect to Correa, but I really liked it yesterday when Recchi Corson and Lindros played together. 8, 9, and big number 88. That was a line to be dealt with. They seem to have a couple of good shifts, and then the lines to go back to how they have been with Correa playing with Lindros. Correa's a good young hockey player, but Lindros really seemed to be clicking with Recchi and the experience of Corson.
The key there is Young. He really couldn't contain Bikoff or Khomatov when he was out there. Smith goes back, takes his man out along the boards, and that's frozen. The officials saying, get it out, and they did. And the Czechs pop it in the net. Everyone was watching Smith, who thought he had the puck. That was dumped out, and there was no one there for Canada with Dolezal pumping it home.
The Canadians seem to have everything under control. The puck squirted out to Kuchera. Kuchera very alertly looked up, found Dolezal wide open in front of the goal, and TAGNATT is beaten for the first time in this game.
Excellent camera work there from the Germans. I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek. These pictures are coming to you from German television. Commentary from Eurosport. Hostak, backhand shot. TAGNATT gets the pad on it. Russell waiting on the doorstep.
How many times have you seen that happen before, though? The puck is underneath somebody. The referees in the last year or so have really been serious about play on, play on. They get very verbal. They're yelling for the guys to keep going. Sometimes it can result in a silly injury, so it's nice that they do blow the whistle quick at times. But when they let it go, half the players are standing there watching the play. In the meantime, guys like Kuchera come up, take the puck, throw it out front, and somebody's on the scoreboard.
Russell up against Gagne. Gagne eventually gets it back to McIver. McIver, as we approach the 8-minute mark, gets it up on the wing. Gagne shoots it into the zone, and the Czechs get back in a hurry. Recchi takes his man out of the play as that's cleared up to the hash marks. Gagne goes in there, big chop. Can't contain Baranek, or Hostak rather. Hostak threw it to an open wing. Manson is there to pick it up. Hostak goes after his man. McIver wants it, gloves it down, and the Canadians start up. Canada on the right side, taken out of the play is Buchberger. A loose puck squirts to the far side of the rink. Hostak breaks through center. Onto the blue line, feeding it up to Russell. Russell being pushed there by Recchi. Russell hangs onto it. Russell's back pass to Horva went out over the line. Recchi takes a break, and the Czechs come back on the defense. Horva gets the return pass, throws it up to center. And the Canadians now go on the defense. Karkner is being chased by Herbeck. Not a good clearance there. Horak almost had it. The Canadians coming back on the attack. Sanderson tried to whip that right through in front of the net. Sanderson picks it up, circles. Sanderson unable to get anything going out there with Graves as that comes into the corner. Graves behind the net looking for Sanderson. Graves wraps it around, and Breeza went down. The Canadians with Sanderson and Graves, and Johnson applying the pressure now. Graves behind the net. Whips it right in front. Some good stuff by Canada. Horva brings it out right beside the net, through the circle, hits the blue line. Another change for the Czechs on the fly as that comes up to Herbeck. Herbeck throws it right across the rink, and the Canadians intercept. Brindamore got it up on the wing. Brindamore looking for the loose puck and finds it behind the goal, but that's suddenly taken off his stick by Kapusta. Kapusta is dumped, but his backhand pass gets it out of the zone. Canada bring it right back in with Gelly, and the whistle blows for offside.
just seconds before this offsides. Finally, Serban stepped up at the blue line to take Dineen out. The play ended up going into the corner. But up until that point, both teams defensively are backing in on the goalie. They're allowing each other to skate right into the zone.
Coach Mike Keenan, who will be moving on to the New York Rangers organization in the fall. Having a short spell at international duty here this year.
Dineen sitting in the penalty box. The first minor infraction of this game. The Czechs have the first power play opportunity.
Baranek and Brindamore in the face-off circle. Galley shoots it down.
The Czechs have scored 8 power play goals. The Canadians are number 1 in short-handed situations, so this should be interesting.
Baranek, the return pass right at the red line. Tried to put it over on the right side. That would have been a delayed offside. Or it was a delayed offside had they continued on. But it wasn't whistled down because it was thrown out of the zone. Serban flips it up. Baranek calls for it on the far side. Again, the pass hits the skate at the second attempt. Baranek picks it up on the hash marks. All the way back. Big shot by Kadlec. Whistles by the goal. Stabiana pumps it into Tupal. Tupal muscles in the corner. The Canadians with Brindamore pick it up. Brindamore unable to get it out of the zone. Spent too much time on the puck. A chance now for the Czechs as they circle. Tupal looking for places to go. Ran out of places to go.
Good defense by Jerry Galley all over the ice, challenging the Czechs on one side of the ice, then coming all the way across and challenging on the other side.
Baranek still out there with 54 seconds on the penalty. The tip up onto the wing. That's shot in by Yuri Dolezal. Tagnat leaves it for Karkner, who gets the wrist shot away. Another complete change out there for both teams. Korea doing some forechecking for Canada as Kadlec pops it up on the wing. Lindros has Korea. That idea was right. It just didn't work. It went off a skate. Kuchera drops it back to stay away from Lindros. A rink-wide pass eventually comes to Dolezal's stick. Tipped up to Kuchera. The Canadians not allowing the Czechs to settle. And the Czechs not looking like they want to settle in the zone. Manson squeezes his man. The backhander by Lindros gets it out of the zone. Briza has to come out as Korea gets in there in a hurry. The Canadians back at full strength. Poland shoots it into the corner. Dineen is back on the ice. Gagne, some slashing to slow his man down. Dolezal comes up now. Dolezal drops it off. 1, 2, 3 checks. That's right in front. Kuchera was the intended receiver, but it didn't work. Canada back on the attack with Recchi. Recchi, big shot coming in from number 10, Sanderson. And back on the attack come the Czechs. 1 or 2 bodies flying out there, but still not as physical as games have been earlier on in the competition.
Big shot by Jeff Sanderson. Going high and wide. He can really let him rip, and he normally shoots on the fly. It's good to see. Two Canadians going for the tip. That isn't going to happen. The shot is high enough that they would have needed a baseball bat to get a piece of it. Sanderson in his rookie year with 31 points at Hartford. This season, 46 goals alone, plus 43 assists. An outstanding year for him with the Whalers.
Loose puck at center is picked up by Hostak. Hostak gets a rough ride on the far side, but dumps it in. Mayer bangs it around the boards. Russell is there. Russell roughing it up with Savage. The shot comes in. The Canadians pick it up on this side, and that's tipped all the way into neutral ice territory. Canada, the shot coming in on Briza. That's gloved down by Savage, and Serban tips it away. Brindamore got the original shot away, and Canada applying a little pressure around Briza's goal.
BRŽIZA stopping his 9th shot of the period, giving up one goal, one that he certainly wasn't happy with. The Czech defense is backing in a bit, but they're making the Canadians shoot from outside as the forwards are coming back for the Czech Republic, lifting the sticks and doing a good job of back-checking. Savage trying to play basketball, reaching for the puck. It's well over his head, ends up right on his chest.
Johnson gets it back. Smith lets a shot go. It bounces off the boards, and the Canadians working out front. Sanderson unable to get free right in front of the goal. And that's tipped over onto the wing. Breaking down now is Kalun. Kalun goes in, and the defense backing up on Tugnutt. Tugnutt makes the save. The second save on Herbeck this time. And Kalun looking steady out there as he worked in on Tugnutt. This youngster has a great future for the Czech Republic. Still only 20 years old. Working well with Herbeck.
Canadian defense looking vulnerable again. One guy back, and he's backing way in on Tugnutt. Good pad save from Ron Tagnatt. The play staying in the Canadian zone. A quick turnaround again. Tugnutt had to be awake.
From the face-off, Canadians get it back to Galley. Baranek goes in after him. Korea couldn't hang on to that on the boards. Lindros chases. And the pressure now coming from the Czechs as Tupal. Tupal gets it right in front. The backhander from Baranek just went wide of the target. Horva muscles along with Shane Corson. Baranek goes in to give Corson a rough ride, and Kennedy in the far corner get it out. Smith getting the final touch. Korea calling for it. Lindros is brought down, and the Czechs get it across the rink. Horva slowly brings it to the blue line, gives it to Kapusta, who goes for a shot from a sharp angle. Lindros could only tap it as far as the midway point between the hash marks and the blue line. Another clearance by the Canadians gets out over the blue line, and the Czechs pick it up in their own zone. Horva dropping it all the way back. Kapusta at center ice. Baranek at the blue line. Baranek has Kapusta breaking. Baranek trying to throw a little move. Just in the corner didn't work, but again, the Canadians can't get it out of the zone. Now they carry it out, and both teams go for a change on the fly. A nice little move. Recchi trying to get it out front. Corson is right there with Gagne, and that comes back to the blue. And the Canadians, Gagne's got it right in front. BRŽIZA makes the save. The rebound is right there. Another one comes out, and the whistle goes, but the puck was not held.
BRŽIZA just standing his ground. Stick on the ice, pads together, denying Canada twice. Couple of excellent moves from Recchi. The pass ends up coming over to Gagne. The Czechs fan on it as they're trying to clear. Gagne with the first shot. The second one right there from Corson. Big hit from behind by Serban. Corson gives him a chop. BRŽIZA keeping his head and making the save for the Czech Republic.
Aber immer öfter.
Weil es alkoholfrei ist?
Nein, weil es ein Bier ist.
Klaus-Thaler. Alles, was ein Bier braucht.
Again, we see a goaltender under pressure, but always coming up to be square with the shooter. BRŽIZA having one or two problems with that one and eventually gloves it, but that's the key. In our great saves package, we're going to show you later on, you're going to see Richter getting 5 or 6 shots from Ulen of Sweden, and every time the shot came, he got to his feet, or at least he positioned himself square to the shooter, and that's what BRŽIZA was doing there. Poland shoots it away from Buchberger. Recchi goes after his man. Kastak picks it up. A nice pass through center. The Czechs stringing the passes together with this Hostak-Kastak-Russell line. Canada coming back on the attack. Recchi now waiting for a little support. Feeds it right in front. That took a bounce. And Hostak Gets away with that somehow. Big hit on the blue line. The Canadians try to drag it over, unable to do so. And back comes Kastak. Kastak. Big shot coming in. Russell was there and Hostak was there with the lumber on the puck. Tugnutt coming up big on a couple of occasions in this period.
Kastak and Hostak still looking smooth, moving the puck around nicely together.
Horak is dumped as he gets the pass over. Another shot comes in. This trickles wide of the net, and the Canadians unable to get it out. That comes back to the blue line. Another shot comes in. And Canada sitting back on their heels for a moment out there as Brindamore chases Gudas. Up on the wing, Savage takes his man out of the play. And the Czechs pick it up in the corner. Herbeck whistles that around, and that goes high. It's brought down behind the goal. Horak picks up the puck, and it's whistled down, and we'll have another face-off.
We mentioned earlier about Hostak Kastak. They come into this game with 7 points apiece, 4 goals and 3 assists for Hostak, who's had a couple of good shots at Tugnutt in the Canadian goal in this period.
Good look there at Jan Calhoun, drafted by San Jose. 20 years old, and as I said a moment ago, a great future. I really like the way he plays hockey. He seems to work well with Herbeck.
Speaking of future, the talk of the town in Munich is Titov of Russia. The NHL are high on him.
Every once in a while we have someone talk about the dream teams coming over to play the Olympics or the World Championships. If they do have the dream teams, you're not going to see the youngsters who become the world-class players that they do later on in life. It's a great showcase for 18-year-old, 19-year-old players from all over the world. Right now, it's Tugnutt who's coming up with the saves for Canada. He came in late to replace Ranford in the game against Russia, but it was too little too late. The Russians had already won the game. Right now, it's one apiece. Graves for Canada, Dolezal for the Czech Republic. Still in the first period, still live on Eurosport. A lot of time being taken on this face-off. Voronek moves out. Kapusta goes over to the far side, and Tupal steps in. Voronek and Kapusta switch sides yet again. I really hope they get this face-off underway while we're still young to commentate on this game. Voronek unable to keep it in. Staviana flips it through. No one there with a red shirt on to pick it up. The Canadians come back in numbers with Sanderson flipping it to the far side. A long, gentle tip up, and Johnson will chase for that, but BRZIZA comes out, pounces on it, with Johnson right there knocking at the door.
It was a good play by BRZIZA. He could see what was coming toward his end of the ice. One Czech defenseman coming back hard, but Johnson was on the fly for Canada to apply the pressure, and there was a Canadian forward coming right behind him. A good move by BRZIZA to take the pressure off the defense.
.42-year-old Ivan Linka, the Czech coach, doing a great job with this Czech team. Lindros kicked that back onto the D. Lindros goes after Kadlec. Kadlec, a nice little pass out to Kuchera. Kuchera starts it up, hits the blue, slams on the brakes, tries to whistle that over to the far side. Lots of whistles in the crowd, but that wasn't a whistle on the ice. Cleared back to Holland. Holland will just drive it back into Tugnutt. Karkner for Canada, being shadowed by Kuchera. Karkner starts it up, throws it up on the wing to Lindros. Lindros has Correa breaking. The drop pass is there. The return pass, the shot right in by Lindros, and BRZIZA comes up big. Benning pumps it right back in. Correa is there, right out front. Can they get the shot away? No, they don't. Kadlec picks it up, bounces it off the boards to get it away from Correa. Lindros, the loose puck, tries to flip it in. Another backhander by Lindros doesn't work, and the Czechs shoot it down the ice.
Eric Lindros with 11 goals and 6 assists. had a couple of good opportunities against the Russians and just failed to score. Close call for him against Petr BRŽIZA on that one.
Batted away off the boards, and the Czechs can't get it out of their zone. Recchi with that left-handed shot on the right wing. Another one comes in with Recchi circling the net, and BRŽIZA hangs on to it here in the dying seconds of this first period.
Oh, what a surprise that is. Leo Gudas roughing it up around the front of his own goal. You got to like this guy. He plays with a lot of heart, and he certainly isn't shy. Him and Buchberger squaring off and having a couple of chops at each other. A little bit of fisticuffs involved.
Leo Gudas, one of the more colorful players on the Czech Republic side. He'll sit for a couple, and these penalties will go into the next period. There's the action there. Whatever I can do to you, you can do to me. Buchberger is there too. Horva drops it off. Russell at the top of the circle. Russell one move. Russell a second move. Gives it to Hostak. He takes the shot. Tugnutt made the save and bangs it off the boards away from Russell. Not a great pass there as Horva gives it to Hostak. Hostak drops it back to Horva. Russell wants it. Horva hangs on and circles back. His pass is intercepted by Recchi as Recchi goes back over the blue line. Good move by Recchi. Passes that up, and the Canadians coming up now. Gagne tees it up, takes the shot, and misses the glove hand side. Recchi is there. Bangs it off the mesh. And the whistle blows.
Shot from Gagne, right in the slot area, right where he wanted to be, trying to use a Czech defenseman, Staviana, as a screen. The shot goes wide of the goal. Good work once again from Recchi.
From the face-off, Horak tried to grab that. 10 seconds now on the period. Coming along the boards, the Canadians starting to throw their muscle on Herbeck. Smith back behind his own red line. He'll wait for this whistle to blow. And there it goes to end the first period. Some excellent end-to-end action. Both Tugnutt and BRŽIZA coming up big on occasion. Graves started things off in the opening minute of the game for Canada, and then Dolezal replied to make it 1-1.
Close contest, 13 shots by the Czechs, 10 shots by the Canadians. Both goaltenders had a few difficult ones. A lot of shots going wide for each team, though. They got to hit the net.
They're playing for bronze out there. The winner will take the bronze medal. The loser will end up in fourth position. We still have 40 minutes of hockey to go. And we have the big final tomorrow, Sweden against the Russians. That'll be live on Eurosport, so stay with us then. In the meantime, we're going to take a break. Be back in a moment for the start of the second period. Welcome back to Munich. After 20 minutes of ice hockey, it's Canada 1, the Czech Republic 1. The second period is just a moment away from beginning. And we've had one or two penalties in the first period, but nothing really serious, nothing really physical. Gudas and Buchberger are both in the box right now. There's a good shot of Leo Gudas. Buchberger a moment ago, number 16 for Canada, sits alongside. And goals coming for Canada from Graves, for the Czech Republic from Dolezal. The Canadians playing from right to left on your screens. Lindros taps that through. Janecki at center. And Milos Holland goes back and looks for Kadlec. Kadlec lets it ride as Corson comes in. The shot took a deflection. Janecki on the far side. McIver taps that along, and the Czechs with Kadlec and Holland trying to get it out of the zone. Holland up on the right side, hits the red line. Holland moving past Janecki, happy just to flip it in the corner. And the Canadians with a long pass up the middle, looking for the quick break. unable to feed it through with the offside whistle blowing.
Eric Lindros just ahead of the play. Good to see him getting another opportunity to skate with Mark Recchi. I would like to see these two guys stay together. Recchi, Corson, and Lindros playing excellent hockey when they were together against the Russians.
From the face-off, just inside the blue line, Kastak unable to get that away from McIver. It comes over on the far side. Kastak trying to tip it through. Canada now with 2-on-2 situation. Recchi comes up, tries to split the D. Manson is moving up there with him. And Horva takes it deep. Serban on this side. 2 seconds on the coincidental penalties. Horva flips it up on the left-hand side, and Manson goes back in a hurry. Canada on the defensive now as that goes into the corner. Gudas is out there along with Buchberger. Gagne, a rink-wide pass. The Canadians breaking quickly. Recchi, Gagne hits in center. Recchi fanned on that, but the Canadians come up with a puck somehow. A nice slide through the circle by Horva. Russell, the little tip away from Manson. Hostak against McIver. McIver stays with him. Johnson goes after him too. McIver goes in there. Johnson looking for the loose puck. Horak unable to get the puck out, and that squirts over to the near side, and here comes Jeff Smith. Smith at the blue line. Smith dropping it back nicely. Shot comes in, and Breeze is there on the wing. The Canadians get it back to the blue line, and it trickles out with Sanderson throwing it to the far side. Smith off the boards. Graves double teamed, and Smith has to come in to help out. Staviana goes deep, but Briza taps it up on the wing.
Canadians applying more pressure on the forecheck in the early going. The Czechs really haven't had anything at Tugnutt.
Horak takes the shot, and that deflects, goes high up on the plexi. Graves hits his man, and Johnson picks up the puck. Graves looking for Sanderson there. Briza a little hesitant to do anything, and that comes out to the far side. Graves tries to move it along the boards. Graves still there. Horak is in there with Sanderson. Both teams changing on the fly as that goes deep, and the Czechs are called for icing.
Czech defenseman trying to get off the ice. The forwards had started to change. A good whistle to take. It'll allow both teams to change all 5 players and get it started again.
Roger Nielsen working alongside Mike Keenan. Nielsen is the one who can afford a tie. Tupou goes up. Karkner is on him. Tupou, a backhand shot. Tugnutt came up with a save, and on the rebound picked it up.
Roger Nielsen, who used to be with the New York Rangers, and now it will be Mike Keenan. Nielsen has been rumored to possibly be going to the new Florida team or even Anaheim. He could be in worse places in the world than Anaheim, California, or in Florida.
Backhand shot blocked away by Tugnutt. Tupou, no real threat to the goal on that one. Baranek goes up against Savage. Baranek gets it back to the D. The shot is there. The rebound coming in. Tugnutt goes down. Another shot comes in. They score! Kapusta does the victory dance. Tugnutt sprawling, unable to get back in a position.
The Canadians having more of the action since the start of the second period, but the Czechs making it count. The Czechs played the same way against the Swedes. The Swedes would have the action all over Briza's goal. All of a sudden the Czechs would get it out and apply tremendous pressure on Soderstrom. This time it's Tugnutt that sees red shirt swarming around him. The Canadians trying to cover up the forwards late getting back. Kapusta comes in as the third man for the Czechs and has the goal.
Korea with the score 2-1 for the Czech Republic is taken out of the play. Lindros is out there. Lindros getting up high on Dolezal, and that's going to be a penalty.
Lindros will go to the box for high sticking. The Czechs can be dangerous. when they've just scored a goal, and now they've got a man advantage right after that goal. Canadians need to watch out and kill this penalty off.
At 6'5", it's not easy for this guy to keep his stick down when he's holding it in a normal manner. He's higher than most players in the National Hockey League. So if he raises his elbows just a bit, up comes the stick, and the high stick is there. On this occasion, though, he really does get it up there on Dolezal. Here it comes now.
Accidental. Lindros was trying to get around Dolezal, but the referee's got to make the call when the stick comes up high like that. It's a good call.
Kuchera unable to hold it in as that comes up to Serban. Serban pushes it along the boards, and it comes out to the far D. The Czechs now setting it up. Galley went after it and forced it through the circle, and a chance now for Corson. Corson brings it forward. That comes to Breeze's doorstep, and the whistle blows.
Buchberger steaming on the other side, not happy about the offside call. He was just a stride ahead, going in over the blue line before the puck did. Jerry Galley once again doing an excellent job of penalty killing, taking the puck off the Czechs and clearing the zone. Kapusta coming in and putting the backhander behind Tugnutt, who's flat on his back in his net.
Voronek and Tupal buzzing around that goal, and eventually it was Kapusta who put it in the net. Horva out in front of his net. Horva hits the blue now. Pumps it up onto the left side to Rossel. Back to Horva. Horva back to Rossel. Back to Horva. Gudas is on this side. Rossel just lets that slide into the corner. Less than a minute on the penalty. Smith waits out front. Galley does the damage in the corner. Shot into the corner, and the Canadians dump it all the way down the ice. Going back for it is Horva. Breeza gets it there and gives it to Gudas. Gudas takes a hit but gets it off to Rossel. Rossel picks up a head of steam now for the Czech Republic. Hits the blue line. Nice move. Rossel lets the shot go, and Tugnutt way out of his net grabs that one down.
Russell's not a big guy, but he certainly is quick. Made his move at the blue line, had full intention of shooting all the way. Side steps one Czech. The Canadians backing in again. Russell lets it rip. A good glove save by Tugnutt.
Russell definitely having problems at the start of the competition putting the puck in the net. In fact, he couldn't have put the puck in the ocean if he tried.
Russell with 2 goals and 5 assists. He's had about 10 breakaways. He couldn't score on the breakaway. Finally netted one, and things have gone better for him since then.
Serban took the shot a moment ago, and Tugnutt came up with a great skate save. Herbeck was right on the post, just couldn't tip it in. Stabiana throws it forward. Another shot coming in on the corner. Serban delivers that right in front. Horak tried to reach for it. Stabiana. Horak takes the shot, and Karkner got a stick on it. Kalun with Manson along the boards, and now Lindros comes back on the ice. Still pressure coming from the Czechs. Oh, a good save by Tugnutt as he got the rebound and batted away. Kalun working well. Herbeck is dumped, and the Canadians now get it as far as the blue line. Serban pumps it in as far as the hash marks, and Canada take the pressure off by dumping it out over the zone to Herbeck. Serban going deep. The Canadians will change, and the Czechs will too if they can get the man out there.
Offside play. The Canadians look flat right now. They survived the shorthanded situation, but they're not really skating.
Nice move there by Ron Tugnutt. One save, and then the clearance with the stick in midair. Kadlec to the far side. Going after him is Korea. That's fed through. The Czechs are stringing the passes together. Tupal was the intended receiver. Tupal had that just go over his stick. Kadlec takes the shot, and that goes to the far side. Holland bats it in. Korea is there, and the Czechs now Out-skating, outplaying the Canadians in their zone. In through the circle, Canada with Corson tapping it up onto the wing. Lindros muscles against Holland. That's right in front. Oh, a big rush there with Lindros. That shot going off the metalwork, and BRŽIZA getting off lucky as Lindros took it down. Korea started to throw his passes together along with Corson.
It looked like Lindros was going to put the big lean on the defenseman. Would have been a handful for Holland to try and take off the play. He eventually does take good care of Lindros, but coming into the picture quickly was Mayer. BRŽIZA led off with that one.
Face-off with Gagne getting it back. Comes all the way back to McIver. He takes the shot. Buchberger went in there. Gagne now with Buchberger behind the goal. A long clearance coming in from Canada, away from the net. And a break now with Meyer roughing it up along the boards. Canada, McIver into center ice territory. Gagne looking for the pass. A chance for the Canadians is broken up by the Czechs right in front of the net. And a 2-on-2 situation with Janetsky. Janetsky trying to feed it through to the far side. Recchi for Canada slows it down on the blue line, gives it to Gagne. Gagne flips it to the top of the circle. And the Canadians with Galley feeding it through. And Gagne calling for it on this side. Recchi delivers it over to Gagne. Gagne puts it right back behind the net. Canada with a man out front and able to get the pass to him. Smith pumps it in. Recchi into the circle. Canada unable to get the shot away. Gagne buzzing out there with Recchi. But the quality shots aren't coming. Smith coming right back on the attack. Johnson was right there. Sanderson got the final touch on it. Sanderson tips it back. Return pass. The shot coming in from Graves. And that's wide of the net. Hostak happy just to clear it out of the zone. And the Canadians are throwing their weight around here in the second period. They trail it 2-1. The Czechs clinging on to that lead.
Both the Canadians and the Czechs seem to turn it on from time to time. Now the Czechs look flat, and the Canadians are really taking it to them. Good action. Mark Recchi and Gagne linking up nicely. The play continued. A good shot taken by Sanderson. Bodies all over the front of the net. BRŽIZA not sure what way the puck is going to go. It hit him.
Lindros from the face-off got it back. And the Canadians, 7:45 in the period. The shot deflected away by BRŽIZA. Corson, another shot at the side of the net. Korea in the corner, skates, looks for somewhere to go, takes it out front. The backhand shot with a big chop on him from Kastak is going sent into the corner. Korea circles, Korea picks it up, delivers that right in front for Lindros, but he just was a couple of strides away from it. Russell puts it up to Hostak. Hostak back to Kastak. And the Canadians again pick it up and throw it up the ice. Lindros along the boards is upended nicely. Corson goes in against Russell. And that's what the fans like to see. From close in, it's Lindros back on his feet, taking the shots, and BRŽIZA coming off big as Smith gets it on this side. Smith to Lindros. Serban, Corson. Lindros can motor, tried to get it over, and the shot didn't come. Corson looking for the tip on Galley's pass. That didn't work. Smith puts it right back in. Korea, one time from Lindros, is batted away. Korea goes back after it, so does Serban. Serban stays in there, and Staviana gets it to Russell. Russell hits the red line. Russell still with it. Drops it back to Serban. Feeds it right through. And that trickled over the red line, but the whistle had already blown.
Seems to be about 1,500 people in the crowd with whistles. It's hard for the players and the linesmen to know who's blowing the whistle. The play was offsides. The goal wasn't going to count. A little bit of rough stuff after the whistle had blown, or at least after the players had figured out that the whistle had blown. Face-off will come outside of Tugnutt zone. Both teams roughing it up.
Russell goes to the box. Kamil Kastak getting the ice pack on his cheek. Smith is also in the penalty box. So it's one apiece as this game starts to heat up here in the second period. 2-1 the score. The Czech Republic leading the Canadians after the Canadians started well with a goal from Adam Graves.
Russell coming over the blue line, being bothered by Smith, taking a wild cut at Smith. Never really touched him, but the intent was certainly there. Both players will have 2 minutes to cool off.
Number 25, number 10.
Staviana joins Russell.
Number 9. And number 7.
And Corson joins Smith.
Saviana and Corson getting involved behind the picture on the blue line, behind the initial scene between Smith and Russell.
Boy, this could open it up a little. Manson with the puck. McIver and Lindros. Kapusta shadows for the Czechs. Both teams with 2 men in the box. Corson, or McIver rather, on the far side. Lindros wants the puck. Lindros goes over to the far side. We're coming up to the midway point in the period. Lindros throws it over to the far side to McIver. McIver back to Lindros. Big save by BRŽIZA on Eric Lindros. And the Czechs now with Kapusta coming back. Kapusta trying to trickle that one through, and it didn't work. Manson slows it down and gives it to Lindros, who takes another shot, and BRŽIZA has to come up with yet another save. Lindros goes looking for the chop on BRŽIZA. BRŽIZA not impressed.
Pетr BRŽIZA not that happy with it, but he isn't going to go over and tell Lindros that.
He'll talk to the referee first. Lindros with a couple of opportunities there to level the score.
McIver on the move for Canada. 2 Czechs watching him. He lays it off nicely to Lindros. Lindros gets all of that one. BRŽIZA with an excellent save.
This is the kind of drill you do in hockey practice, 3-on-3. It really gets the old lungs working and the legs pumping. It's not something you want to do for too long out there. The shot coming from Baranek, it's very, very tiring. It gives the players a chance to throw the passes together. Benning to Galley with Brindamore. You have 2 defensemen for each team. Backhand shot. Galley right there. 2 defensemen and a forward, I was about to say, and that's the way it's working out there. Baranek out there with Horova and Gudas. Along the boards, Brindamore. Brindamore slams on the brakes. Brindamore has Benning out front. Galley moves in. Galley takes the shot, and BRŽIZA was right there. Baranek picks it up and works down the ice. The crowd are really enjoying this 3-on-3 situation. Baranek works his way up against Benning. Galley eventually grabs the puck. It took him a long time. Recchi now has it. Recchi, a one-on-one situation, drops it back. He gets a little support. That took a deflection over to this side of the rink. And Yuri Dolezal comes up with it. Dolezal skates over the blue. 3 Czechs over there. The pass right through is not complete to Holon. And both teams are back at full strength. Well, the Canadians certainly had the better of the play in the 3-on-3 situation.
The Czechs held their ground through BRŽIZA. He just kept taking the angle away from the Canadians when they did shoot.
Russell being chased by Correa. Correa ties him up. Recchi goes in now. Recchi takes his man out of the play, and the Canadians going through a good spell here in the second period. Recchi trying to backhand it out. A shot comes in, and BRŽIZA gets the glove to it. This guy is hot.
Canadians still pumping the shots at BRŽIZA. Have only beaten him once through Adam Graves.
Just a reminder that the gold medal battle will take place tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central European time on Eurosport, so be with us. That'll be live from Munich. The pass all the way around comes out onto the near side, and the Czechs with Kadlec going through. Manson gets the touch there, keeps it away from Russell. Mansell keeps it away from Hostak, and the offside whistle blows. Russell being caught on the wrong side of the blue line out there.
Russell had taken a chop at Smith earlier, has served his 2 minutes, had the chance to think about it. He wants to get back on track for scoring goals. It seems to keep him the happiest.
From the face-off, the Canadians win it, get it all the way back to Jeff Smith. Smith hits his own blue line, tries to push that beyond Russell, with Lindros and Correa moving down on the left side. And again, the offside whistle blows.
Exhibition play before the World Games. The two teams had two very close encounters. The Czechs won the first one 8-7. The two teams drew 4-4. But both coaches admittedly saying that there are different players for both sides now that the games have taken place here in Munich, and they're two totally different teams altogether.
Both teams waiting for NHL stars to come through. Kastak thought for a moment that he was free there, but the offside whistle blew. Second year as the national coach, Linka has worked well with the boys that he's been given. There are a lot of guys still playing in the NHL that he would like to have, but I'm sure that just about every team could say that. That was a giveaway there. Corson over to Recchi, or Corson was forechecking and Recchi had the pass come to him. Corson now providing the pass, a shot coming in, and Lindros unable to beat BRŽIZA yet again.
Corson, Recchi, and Lindros out there together. A giveaway from Kadlec, I think, took Recchi by surprise. He couldn't believe he passed the puck to him right in front of the goal.
Johnson tips that on the forehand to the far side. The Canadians mixing up the lines out there. Johnson behind the goal going for a skate. Still it's Johnson, gets through the circle. His pass is not a good one. The Canadians get in with the touch, and McIver golfs it all the way back in. BRŽIZA fell down at the side of his goal. And we have another whistle on the play. One or two giggles from the fans out there as BRŽIZA took a dump. He goes and he adjusts his equipment, but then goaltenders do that all the time as soon as they fall. Oh, it must have been the equipment that upended me.
Linesman getting out of the way. The puck drilled in by the Canadians. BRŽIZA slips and falls. He was lucky through the offside whistle. He had a lot of time to sort himself out.
Blame it on the strap under the skate. Tupal hits the blue line on this side. The backhander comes in from Baranek. Kapusta tries to feed it through, and the Czechs now set it up. Nice little back pass coming from Baranek. Baranek now races over to this side to pick up the puck. Puts it along to Tupal. He bounces it off the back of the net, and Baranek is still in there doing a lot of hard work. Kapusta, who scored the goal, would put the Czechs into the lead. Fighting in the corner. Ṱagnatt came way out of his net. Still not away. Tupal took a shot from a sharp angle, missed the net completely. All the way back to Horova. He pumps it back in, and the Czechs unable to get good shots on the net, but they're containing the Canadians in their own zone. Tupal surrendered that. Johnson now working with Sanderson. Johnson drops it back. The Canadians in front of the goal. Johnson still fighting for it, and it trickles out over the blue.
2-on-2 opportunity. Galley coming up to try and help out. He certainly had the right idea, but couldn't handle the pass.
Gudas and Brindamore mix it up. It's still not away. Deneen goes after it in a hurry. And Canada with Karkner batting it down and flipping it back onto the D. Mayer on the wing tipped it forward. Brindamore was there, and the offside whistle blows yet again.
Both teams now starting to move out to the blue lines to take each other out. Possibly the coaches have had a word and said, let's stop backing in. Let's start making these guys do something further away from your goalie.
From the face-off, Brindamore along the boards, can't bring it forward. And Kuchera stick handling nicely, gets the shot away. Benning got a deflection to that. Karkner bounces it away from Kuchera, and the Czechs pepper it right back into the side of the goal. Kuchera shadows for the Czech Republic as that comes up on the left side. Benning off the boards into neutral ice territory. Serban back to Kuchera. Less than 5 minutes on the clock. Janecki is cruising in front. The pass didn't come his way. Dolezal wanted it back, but the shot was gloved down by Tugnutt.
Good movement by the Czechs, and certainly using the ice to their advantage, spreading out, laying that one back nicely. Big shot from just inside the blue line. Tugnutt getting the glove up once again.
Face-off now in Canadian territory as that comes back to the blue line. Another shot wide of the net, and it's cleared out looking for Buchberger. Buchberger chasing Holland. Buchberger, an excellent forechecker, causing a few problems. Gagne gets the bouncing puck. Correa's waiting out front. Buchberger, Correa tries to deliver that. It bounces off a skate with Gagne cruising. Buchberger there, but BRZIZA hangs on to the loose puck.
Correa taking a shift with Buchberger and Gagne in place of Recchi. Good hard work from Buchberger. He is an excellent forechecker, Paul. Puts a lot of pressure on.
BRZIZA gets set for the face-off with Hostak against Gagne. And Hostak is being told to get out. Kastak takes over. And that comes back to the Canadians, back at the blue, right on the blue. A nice tip over to Manson. He's got the good shot. Can't get it away. Kadlec got in front of it. Fed it through. Russell, a 2-on-1 situation. Russell takes the shot. And Tugnutt went down, put the pads in front of it. Holland chases down the other end of the rink. The Czech Republic showing that they can break very quickly indeed. Gagne races after that. Kastak put a stick in there. Correa trying to set something up. A rink-wide pass. There's no one there to pick it up with a white shirt on. Russell has it now for the Czechs. Again, it's Russell going in. Russell smothered out of the plate. And the puck is frozen with Buchberger and Galley going at Russell. Buchberger and Russell still having words from before.
You gotta like Russell. He is so quick, and he's certainly smart. He skated right away from Galley. Didn't want anything to do with him. Russell had beaten Manson along the boards. Manson, desperate to get back into the play, put the big hook on Russell, bringing him down. And then the Canadians are trying to molest Russell as he's on the ice. Manson trying to pull his head off.
A good save there by Galley as he slid across the ice. There were two Czechs in front of Tugnutt. That would have been another goal for sure. Manson sits in the penalty box. Smith peppers it off the post. Horova tips it up to Horak. And the Canadians go on the defensive here as Roman Horak gets it back to Horova. Horova tries to get it away from Lindros. Lindros loses the puck in the circle. Gudas feeds it through. And we have another whistle on the plate.
Manson leading the penalty minutes for the Canadians. That one will give him 22 total minutes in penalties. The misconduct that he took against Russia certainly wasn't a very good one. It came at the wrong time for the Canadians.
Manson has been the big provider when it comes to goals. His booming slap shot from back of the blue line has set up and has scored a few goals for the Canadians at key points.
Morava picking himself up slowly off the blue line. Didn't go to the bench very quickly. It looked like he was winded on the play.
Kadlec at the second attempt takes a long time to get the pass forward. Too far for Herbeck. And the Canadians dump it down the ice. Some good forechecking there by Lindros. And the Czechs will have to start it up again. Coming back on the attack. Corson is up there too. Herbeck hits the blue line. Herbeck doubles back along the blue line. Good backhand pass, and that comes over to Holland. Holland into the corner. Some rough stuff in there from the Canadians. And they get back in a hurry to break this one up. Canada throwing it forward. Less than 3 minutes on the clock. Less than 1 minute on the penalty. Graves goes in with Corson. And Kadlec gathers that in the corner. Kadlec up to Calhoun. Calhoun, a nice little tip up to Herbeck, who throws it back over to Horan, and that's bumped as far as the blue line. Sanderson still can't get it out. Calling for it on this side is Kadlec. Kadlec playing heads-up hockey, delivers that off of Graves' knee. Baranek in the corner trying to muscle his way out. Canada with Kadlec, or with Graves running up against Kadlec. Eventually Karkner feeds it through, looking for Sanderson on the quick break. Hole in there against Sanderson. Graves has Karkner out front. Graves has Karkner out front, and he just couldn't get the pass on his stick. He was wide open, but the big defenseman lost control in front of the net. The tip there, they score! Tupou set it up.
Karkner trying to get involved in the offense. Nearly has a goal for himself, but can't get back fast enough to stop the Czechs as they're on the tear. They're going toward Tagnatt. Baranek going hard for the goal. Just gets a piece of it. Tagnatt can't come up with the puck. The Czechs now with a 2-goal lead. Close call for Karkner, almost getting a goal for himself, and then being out of position, just couldn't get back fast enough.
23-year-old star for Philadelphia joined the Czech Republic right at the end of the season, and now a chance coming in. Riza makes the save. The rebound comes out, and we have a whistle on the play. Riza coming way out of his net.
The referee losing sight of the puck. The Canadians not happy with that decision. Recchi on the move over the blue line, takes a look, thinks he's got his corner pick, gets it away. Briza isn't sure, it hits him, he makes the save and gets the job done, but he didn't know where the puck went. Premature decision by the referee. He was trying to apologize to the Canadians along the boards for blowing the whistle. The face-off will stay in the Czech zone.
Janecki goes up against Brindamore, and the Canadians win it. Pepper it right back in through the circle. That took a deflection. A minute and a half now on the period. 3-1 the score here in the second period. It's been a good one for the Czechs. The Canadians have squandered their opportunities. A moment before the goal was scored, Karkner was in front and just couldn't get a handle on it. Janecki tapped that one through. Galley puts it to the far side. The deflection sends it over the boards. Dolezal breaking up that play before it got started.
The counterattack being done so quickly by the Czechs. They move from defense to offense in such a hurry. The Canadians have been caught out a few times. The Czechs have made a couple of them pay off. They've got a 3-1 lead late into the second period. The Canadians have really got to do their homework and come out with something in the third.
Well, the Canadians were undefeated in the preliminary round, and it looked like they were going to go the distance. Right now, they're losing 3-1 against the Czech Republic. Russell is double-teamed, and McIver goes into the corner. The Canadians struggling in their own zone to get it out. Lindros takes a poke at it. A second swipe delivers it across the red. And we'll have another face-off as play breaks down in the neutral zone.
Lindros trying to get behind the Czech defense. The puck going over two lines. The whistle quickly blown, and the Canadians will have to think of something else.
Dolezal, Kapusta, and Baranek for the Czech Republic. Graves the only one to score for Canada. An excellent crowd here in Munich, really enjoying this one. We hope you are. Face-off just inside the blue line. Graves gets a little tap forward, and Horova shoots it in for the Czech Republic. That comes to the edge of the net. The Canadians trying to get it out, and they do. A long pass is a bad one, intended for Deneen. Deneen loses out, and Russell taps it forward. Russell takes a hit from Manson. Everyone going after Russell. Graves, a gentle touch forward, looking for Johnson. Horova is there. Johnson couldn't find Graves. Russell skating backwards with just 13 seconds on the clock. Russell will want to count this one down. The puck is banged off the boards, and the Canadians with 2 seconds just flip it into the zone, and there goes the buzzer to end the period. A good one for the Czech Republic. Kapusta and Baranek stretching the Czech lead to 3-1.
Both teams seem to just have their moments where they turn it on and then turn it off. The Czechs have obviously turned it on a little bit more than the Canadians. They've got a 2-goal lead. One more period of hockey to play. Mike Keenan's going to have to do something to get the guys going during the intermission.
Briza has been solid between the pipes, and how many times have we said that? He stopped Lindros, and he's had several other big saves in there. Sanderson got a good shot away once.
He's one of those goaltenders that seems to get the right bounces most of the time. Even when he isn't sure, he manages to clear the puck out of danger.
We've got a break coming up now, but the third and final period is just a moment away. So stay with us. We'll be back. Opportunities throughout that period, unable to capitalize. That's dumped in by Korea. Going after it is Lindros. Janecki gets there first. Janecki, not a good clearance from him. Korea tapped it in, and he gave it right back to the Czechs. Long pass up to Dolezal. He couldn't control that puck. Korea again, a backhander. He didn't look where he was going, and Kucherov chopped out of the play by McIver. Lindros tried to break through. McIver calls for it on this side rather than at the red line. And Dolezal gets back deep to steal it away from McIver. Russell in his own zone takes a chop. Russell brings his man down, and the Canadians with McIver taking the shot. Briza was right there with the save.
'28-year-old McIver, an excellent defenseman who gets well involved in the offense, leading scorer for Ottawa, 17 goals and 46 assists.
You know your team's in trouble when you got a defenseman who's leading the scoring. Oh, the Senators had a big year, or a bad year rather. Right in front, Adam Graves doing some roughing in the circle. A nice pass up on the wing. Russell takes the shot, scores!
The first shot at Tugnutt is one that he wishes hadn't come his way. The familiar sight of the long-haired Russell ripping down the right side has just enough time, just enough legs, and certainly pinpoints the shot beautifully behind Tugnutt. Petr Russell on the break, over the blue line, looks at the goal, winds up, and lets it fly. Goal number 1 of the period going to the Czechs. 4-1 now, the Czech Republic with a 3-goal lead over Canada.
Saviana got it through to Calhoun. His slap shot from close in misses the post. Karkner at the far side of the rink picks it up. We're still in the first 2 minutes of the period, and the Canadians are hurting. Horak along the boards. The Czechs showing everyone how quickly they can break. Benning goes back, and Tugnutt came way out of his net to tap it up. Karkner in the corner. Throws it in front of his goal. The pass up to whoever it was they were sending it up to, I think it was Korea, was intercepted by Staviana, and the Canadians throwing around some sloppy passes out there. Tipped in the corner by Herbeck. Canada are chasing right now. The long pass into neutralized territory is trapped by Kadlec feeds it up to Baranek. He taps it up to Tupal, and that's golfed away. The Canadians with Dineen. Dineen is trailing. That puck is eventually tapped out of the zone, and the Canadians go for a change. Manson takes a big slap shot. BRZIZA has no problems with that, and the Canadians will start it up yet again. Up at the blue line, Canada, Corson puts on the brakes. Recchi was the intended receiver, and Lindros went right in there and took the shot. Breaking away is Kuchera. Long pass to the far side, and the Canadians getting back in numbers. Up to Recchi. Recchi on the right side. Picks up a head of steam. Recchi delivers it off to Corson. Corson throws it right to the goal. Lindros was right in there. And BRZIZA comes up with a save yet again. And everybody chops at BRZIZA.
Players tying up after the whistle's been blown. It was Lindros that took the chop at BRZIZA, but none of the Czechs seemed to go after Lindros to have a word with him. The easier option is to tie up Corson, I guess.
Well, to be fair, the puck was still free. And Lindros doing what he has to do and what he's been taught to do. You see the puck, you take a swipe at it, and you go for a goal. Janecki with Kuchera on the right wing, puts it over onto the left side. McIver fires it back in. That whistles around the boards to the far side, and the Canadians now pick it up in the Czech zone. Johnson taken out of the play, gives it to Buchberger, back to Brindamore. He took the shot. The bounce comes all the way out. Kuchera will go for a change. Most of the Canadians are getting over the boards and sort themselves out. Buchberger was the intended receiver, and that's in there. Another goal by the Czechs. Everyone looking at the change. And Russell instrumental in that one too.
Russell, Hostak just getting onto the ice. A good change by the Czechs on the fly.
Some more brutal camera work from the Germans. I tell you, they have to go back to school. Russell on this occasion settling it down and putting it behind Tugnutt.
Russell certainly drinking Gatorade or something between the periods, coming out with 2 quick goals, putting the Czechs 4 goals in front.
A couple of goals by the camera team being missed completely. It's not the cameraman, it's the guy who's pushing the buttons out there to call up the camera work. I'm saying this because the pictures are coming from German TV, not from Eurosport. Horak on the side. Horak delivers that back to Kalun. Kalun right out front. Kadlec put it over, should have taken the shot.
Kadlec with a lot of time. Everybody down and out. Didn't make much of that. Ended up dumping it into the corner.
A long tip in. The Canadians go back into their own zone. They trail this one 5-1. And the Russians taught them a lesson in hockey the other day, and now it appears to be the Czech Republic who are turning it on and teaching the Canadians how to shoot and score and pass and whatever.
We've said it all along that this Czech team doesn't get the attention they deserve. They don't receive a lot of the publicity that the Swedes, the Russians, and the Canadians get, but they're unlucky not to be in the gold medal game, losing to the defending champions in overtime, and now they're really putting it to the Canadians.
Corson chases that in the corner. Corson hits the back of the net. Kapusta goes after it. Recchi is all over him. Kapusta shakes off Recchi. Here comes Kapusta. Hits the blue line, still with Kapusta to Tupal. Tupal drops it back. Big shot coming in from Baranek, and don't they do that nicely? What about the Canadian defense backing right up on Tugnutt? Lindros tried to take the shot. He got it away but missed the target. Recchi from behind the goal. Lindros moves in now. Lindros squeezed out of the play. Corson gives it to Lindros. Baranek from the top of the slot crosses the blue, crosses the red, comes up to the Canadian blue. Shot from a sharp angle goes off of Manson's skate, and McIver peppers it up. Dolezal to the far side. The Czechs really going through a great spell. Holland takes the shot. What's he doing forward? Everybody peppering the Canadian goal. Bookberger got a piece of it. Gagne tried to take it further, and the whistle blew.
Canadians just can't make anything happen. A couple of bad bounces, and the Czechs playing them tough. You can see that the Czechs are enjoying the game. They've got a 4-goal lead, and they're really flowing.
Gagne in the face-off circle for Canada. The face-off outside the zone. Pumped along the boards only as far as the hash marks. Gagne tried to steal it, but Kuchera had the last say in that matter. Kuchera taking on Mayer. Drops it back to Dolezal. He flips it over to the far side. The wrist shot comes in. And Holland got a piece of that. A bouncing puck. Karkner tips it into the corner. Karkner getting back to break up that one. Mayer for Canada. A nice little fake. Tries to get it away from Dolezal. And the Canadians having a tough time completing their passes out there. Dolezal gets it all the way back. Kuchera breaks up one side as that comes up to this side to Russell. The Czechs certainly are skating out there. A giveaway pass by Russell. The Canadians now coming back, but Russell brought himself back into it and took Brian Savage out of the play. Kastak to Russell, to Hostak, looking to return the pass to Russell. That didn't work. The Canadians got back in numbers. And a long pass up to Hostak. He delivers that back on the defense. The Czechs throwing the pass around. Horva to Kastak. Kastak off the boards. Russell can't get to it. Galley off the boards. Offside is the call, but what a difference in precision passing out there. The Czechs are right on the money. The Canadians, well, maybe they get one. They definitely don't get two.
Once you get a couple of nice goals, you seem to really relax, though. You can see that the Czechs are having fun. They're spreading out. The forwards that don't have the puck are circling and dipping and diving, and they're coming down at the Canadians. The drop passes there. They're really enjoying this right now.
When you play hockey, a coach will always tell you when you're a youngster, have fun out there. It really is difficult to work out why he's saying have fun when you're working yourself to death, when you're getting hit by elbows and sticks and possibly pucks. But it's true, you have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to have fun. And right now, as Richard said, the Czechs are enjoying their game, and they're playing like they're enjoying their game because they're throwing the puck around with ease. A long pass up on the wing, and the Czechs dump it in. Smith goes back for it for Canada. Off the boards. The Canadians are not moving when they take these passes. Brindamore picks it up. He's got Galley there, but he really wasn't skating with any enthusiasm. Back on the attack. Herbeck moves right in front. Still with Herbeck. The shot goes by the far side. And Calhoun is taken out of the play by Galley, and the Canadians now at center. A 1-on-3 situation. Deneen was never going to go anywhere. Deneen brought down by Holland. A chance now for Canada right in front. Gagne took the shot. Another shot coming in. Graves was right there. Gagne and Graves providing Breeze. Breezer with a few problems. Gagne behind the goal. There's going to be a penalty on the play. The hooking call against the Canadians. More heartaches for Coach Mike Keenan. This isn't going to help their cause. They trail by 4, 5-1 here in the third period. Let's look at this hook.
Breeza with a couple of big saves again. Holland going for the puck. Hooked out of the play by Graves. Adam Graves will go to the penalty box for 2 minutes, and the Czech Republic, with a 4-goal cushion, will have a man advantage.
Face-off comes out of the zone, and Horva got it back to Stabiana. The flip up onto the wing. And the Czechs now moving quickly. Tupal heads up hockey, tries to split the defense and almost did. Kapusta along the boards. Kapusta looks up, finds Tupal. Tupal now with Kapusta. Some close-in precision passing from the Czechs. Back to Stabiana, flipped up to the far side. Going after him is Bookberger. A little give and go perhaps, and that comes all the way back to Stabiana. He takes the shot. Gagne fanned on the clearance. Staviana will have another bite at the cherry. He taps it in there. Kapusta has it along the boards. Kapusta takes it out into the circle and gives it to Staviana. Serban on the far side, loose puck there. Kapusta went in. Staviana goes in and tips it away. 2-Paul against Karkner. Gagne high, doesn't get it out. Some good stuff there by the Czechs, and in particular Kapusta, as he sword fights with Gagne. A loose puck. Manson controls it for a moment, shoots it off the boards, and we'll have another whistle on the play as Buchberger starts to mix it up at the blue line.
Buchberger and Gagne hacking and whacking. Gagne unable to get the puck out a couple times, really chopping a couple of the Czechs.
Kapusta goes to the penalty box now for the Czech Republic. A lot of stuff happening off the play.
Action all around Tugnutt. Manson trying to clear. Kapusta's all over him. Hooking the call. Referee possibly trying to even things up.
Boy, that looked innocent enough. Lindros feeds it right through. Breeze is there. Corson got a touch. And again, Breeze reacting. Every time a stick comes his way, you got to expect that at this level. The only time you're safe is when you're sitting down in your own dressing room.
Lindros directing the puck forward. Breeza holding his ground, covering the puck and taking a chop. Breeza backing in as the play's coming to him. Has the save. A little bit of trouble holding on to it. Two Canadians fly in there to have a good little go at him. Corson goes to the box for Canada. Graves is already in there for his hooking call. Dolezal evening things up, going to the box with Corson.
Well, most of these guys play in the NHL, and they do this kind of thing every day, and they get away with it. But they're being caught with international referees. Roughing is the call out there. And they don't like the calls, but they're having to sit. Lindros kicks it back, and the Canadians and the Czechs with a 3-on-3 situation. The Czechs were outplayed last time this happened. Some grabbing of the sticks along the boards. Lindros gets in there to break things up, and Manson couldn't contain it, along with McIver, and so the Canadians go deep.
3-on-3. Adam Graves will be the first guy to come out of the penalty box.
McIver and Graves steps onto the ice. Lindros is there. The Canadians have an opportunity now. Lindros trying to stick handle through the defense, but Holland was there to break it up. Canada coming back again. Not a great pass over, and we'll have another whistle on the play. And there doesn't seem to be any conviction in the Canadian play out there.
They're going to have the man advantage for 53 seconds. Kapusta in the box on his hooking infraction. Big hit from Russell, who's been doing a lot of goal scoring. That could have been dangerous. Canadian not expecting that as the hit came from behind. Russell joins two teammates in the penalty box, Kapusta and Dolezal.
It's getting crowded in there for the Czech Republic. If you're watching hockey for the first time, they'll have 3 men in the box, but they only lose 2 men off the ice. It'll be, not counting goaltenders, a 4-on-3 situation. Lindros gets the face-off, and the Canadians start things up. Sanderson breaks to the far side, gets the pass from McIver. Unable to keep it moving, and McIver will have to start it up again. McIver, not a great pass from him as Lindros was dumped. The Canadians now grab the puck. The officials say play on. That comes back to Sanderson. Sanderson with a chance to shoot. Gets it all the way back to the Blues. Sanderson now still skating with the puck. Gets it back to the Blue again. Sanderson puts it to the side of the net. The tap there. And that comes out. And the Canadians still unable to get themselves in a good scoring position out there.
BRZA going side to side with the Canadians. Lindros trying to drill one past him on the one-timer. It doesn't come off, and the face-off is now outside of BRZA's zone. It'll give him a little bit of a breather. Gudaz sliding back into the play, can't cut the pass off. Lindros' shot is high and wide.
Recchi goes in at center against Herbeck. Sanderson goes deep. Sanderson hits his own blue and comes up to the red. Sanderson now with a head of steam. Poke checked out of the play. How many times have we seen that? The Canadians still unable to get a power play going here. Some good stuff from the Czechs. Canada now with Recchi on the right side. Sanderson trailing. The drop pass off the boards goes over the blue line. Canada will have to start it up again. A lot of jeers coming from the Canadian supporters as the Czechs throw a man out on the ice. Another clearance only as far as the blue line this time by the Czechs, and the Canadians grab it in the zone. Lindros having problems getting the pass back to the D, and the Czechs get it out yet again. Corson squeezed out by Stabianas. Serban goes up in against Recchi. 13:02 gone on the period. The Canadians trailed 5-1. It's been a solid performance from the Czech Republic. Recchi puts it in. Lindros tries to get it back to McIver, and the Czechs shoot it down the ice. Not an impressive power play from the Canadians.
The Czechs still out skating the Canadians, and the Canadians have a man advantage.
Shot in by Benning, and the Canadians really must feel that they're already out of this one. They don't have a chance because they're not playing with any conviction. Benning on this side. Manson, who has the big shot, puts it right in there. Brindamore is there, poking at it with Corson. Corson gets a little support and tempers Flair, but nothing too serious.
Baranek jawing with the Canadians. He gets to do it 9 months of the year as it is, playing with Philadelphia.
The officials quick to get in there to break things up. Baranek still wants to have a go at Gagne.
Canadians trying to muscle in front of the net, causing problems for BRZA. 2 or 3 times BRZA is stuck by Corson. The Czech defense really could do a little bit better, a better job of helping BRZA out, getting the Canadians away from him. The guy's got to stop the puck as it is. He shouldn't have to try and fight with the Canadians as well.
Gagne against Janechki. Gagne gets it back to the blue. Benning spun around and got it over the hash marks. Janechki went after it. Benning wasn't there. Where was he? A breakaway for the Czechs. Benning, a big chop. That's got to be a penalty. Whoa, he got away with that. A giant one-hander. But where were the Canadians? They certainly don't have the speed that they need to stay with these Czechs. Gagne got it out front. And again, the Czechs take it away and break up the ice. Janechki now breaks through, splits the defense, throws it over the far side. Tugnutt went down with Dolezal coming in as Russell steps on the ice. Janechki is hit hard there by Brindamore. Dolezal trying to drag down Dineen. Dineen on the blue line, flips it up to Brindamore. Brindamore all alone in the corner. I'm sure he's going to have company in a minute. Brindamore wrapping it around. BRŽIZA went down. It goes over into the near corner. And the Czechs just casually shoot it down the ice.
Canadians trying to body the Czechs. It isn't working. The Czechs had two great opportunities with Dolezal out there on the last shift.
A bouncing puck with Recchi trying to get himself free. Cleared away by the Czechs, and they certainly are getting more and more confident as this game winds down. They know they've virtually got the bronze medal in the bag, and they're trying all the little back passes, and they're working. Meyer going up against his man. Kastak taken out of the play. Manson tips it off the boards. Long pass up. Lindros can't keep it on his stick. Lindros pumps it back out to Recchi, who takes the shot at the side of the net. It's Lindros. Lindros goes into the corner with the pass, and the Czechs will get there first on this side of the rink. Gudas and Corson square off as Manson has to go deep into Canadian territory. 5-1 the score. 2 goals in this period by Russell have virtually put this game on ice for the Czechs. McIver. Lindros off the back of the net. The return pass into Lindros, but he's tied up, and the Czechs come up with it. That shot away from McIver, but picked up by the Canadians. Manson on the red line. Manson, a long pass to the far side. Staviana tying up Corson. Staviana stays with Corson. Gudas goes in to help, and Corson takes a punch at Gudas, and that's stupid. The Canadians now are losing it, I'm afraid. They're being humiliated on the scoreboard, and they're going to spend the rest of the game in the penalty box. You don't need things like that. That's goon hockey. When you're losing a game, you swallow the bullet. You don't start throwing punches in unnecessary situations, and I must say that Corson deserves the penalty.
Certainly does. All I can add to it, Paul, is that it's a discipline, total lack of discipline. You've said it all. Corson in the corner. Gudas, who's normally the one throwing his weight around, standing there like a good boy taking one shot, turns around and asks Corson what his problem is and receives another shot.
Well, Corson sits for 2 for that. And the Czechs have a chance to extend their 4-goal lead. Like the Russians, they're teaching the Canadians a lesson in hockey out there, a lesson in discipline, and it's difficult for me to say that. I will remain impartial, but I'm a Canadian. And it's nice to see one team on the ice is disciplined and one team is playing good hockey. A long pass up to Kapusta. Kapusta gets away from Brindamore. The chop comes in from Recchi on a big hit on Kapusta. Galley golfs that around out of the zone. Less than 3 minutes on the period. A chance now for the Canadians. BRŽIZA goes down. Recchi was on this side. Brindamore on the other. And right now the Canadians can't buy a goal. BRŽIZA is hot.
The Canadians are certainly frustrated. There's no doubt about it. Brindamore shaking his head. Doesn't know what to do. He was in there, found himself pretty tight by the time he got the pass from Recchi. Brindamore had to control the puck. He's on the backhand. He doesn't have a lot of room or many places to go. BRŽIZA just holds his ground. It's all he has to do. This guy is certainly doing the job for the Czech Republic.
From the face-off now, back on the attack come the Czechs, going into the corner. Dolezal. Again, the Canadians find space to shoot it down the ice. Killing off this penalty will be one thing, but closing down on the scoreline will be another. It doesn't look like they're going to do it as Kuchera on the far side took it in. A bouncing puck is put right in front of the net. Karkner takes a day and a half to move it up, but eventually gets it over the line. Canada now going right on BRŽIZA. BRŽIZA getting the stick out. Good move by the Czech goalie.
Good job by the defense to get back, not making it easy for Canada once again. Recchi picks himself up slowly. For a split second, was off to the races. Good hard work from Holland getting back, hooking him up just enough to create problems for Recchi. and an easy save for BRŽIZA.
Johnson skates into the circle. Corson looks up at the clock, and Hostak unable to get it out of the zone, but the Canadians do it themselves. Horva with the clock winding down. Last 2 minutes on the game, 9 seconds on the penalty. Kastak gets it back to Horva. Horva gets it back to Russell. Can he make it the hat trick? Corson steps on the ice. The tip all the way back to the blue, bounces over the blue, and goes down the ice. A powerful performance by the Czech Republic has put them into a 5-1 lead, and they're going to get the bronze medal.
It's amazing what can happen from one year to the next. Canada are going to end up in 4th place. Switzerland had that position last year, and they now find themselves in Pool B.
Over the years, Canada have 19 gold, 8 silver, and 8 bronze. The Czech Republic with 6 gold, 12 silver, and 15 bronze. Well, that's going to be 16 in a moment. Big game tomorrow for silver and gold. Sweden against Russia. 3 o'clock on Central European time on Eurosport. Live from Munich. We'll be there. We hope you will be. The Canadians, perhaps one last attempt with Manson getting it right in front. BRŽIZA got the stick on it. Another big shot goes upstairs for Canada. Everyone taking a look at the clock. They know this one is all over. Good look at 28-year-old BRŽIZA in action there against Reki. He plays his hockey in Finland, and he certainly has matured over the years. For my money, the best goaltender in the competition. McIver got it over, the long pass through from Manson. Corson and Reki go in the corner. Lindros is there. Lindros waiting for the loose puck to come out. Serban working along well for the Czechs. Lindros comes up with a puck, gets it up to Reki. Corson now. Corson tries to deliver that out front. It doesn't happen. Everyone just going through the motions as this clock winds itself down. McIver has to turn around and chase. A chance for the Czechs going right in on goal. Herbeck is hooked out of the play. Manson gets it up on the wing. The Canadians looking for a change on the fly. That comes over to the near side. Corson, a backhander across the goal. Reki back onto the blue. The swipe goes high and into the corner. Canada with Galley going for a skate against Staviana. 10 seconds on the clock. And the Canadians know that this one is in the record books. One last shot trickles by the goal. Reki got a piece of it. Manson dumps it in, and there goes the buzzer. BRŽIZA says, yes, the bronze is ours. High fives from Linka on the Czech bench. And everyone goes back, and rightly so, to congratulate the big man for the Czech Republic team. He played in all the games. He was outstanding on every occasion. And he really did put the Czechs where they are today.
And you've got a good thing. Stay with it. This team isn't second to anybody, really. They've played well throughout the tournament. BRŽIZA, an outstanding performer in the pipes.